Precious. Good morning, friends. Today is Monday and it's 8 in the morning. For this video, I am trying to film a week in a life of a medical coder, or a week of medical coding. So you will be with me starting today until Friday. So I will do that, and I will do a check-in every day, and we will start coding. So we have a patient here, and let's find some conditions that are reportable. So I could see right away ulcerative colitis, or actually it is ulcerative pancolitis, and I believe that risk adjust. So to code that, let's type ulcerative and then pancolitis. Well, that does not work. Let's try about pancolitis. Yes, here you type pancolitis, and then with complication, I don't know what is the complication, and let's see if we can find what kind of complication it is. And the patient also has autoimmune pancreatitis, so I believe we can code that. The patient also has diabetes, GERD, hypertension. Let's see if we can find some complication here. No, I think I will call the with complication, because it doesn't specify what type of complication, but it has unspecified complication. So we can actually code ulcerative pancolitis with unspecified complication, and that is K51019, and that risk adjust. Also, the patient has autoimmune pancreatitis. So to code that, we have pancreatitis and then autoimmune. Or we start with autoimmune. Because there is no, I tried to index pancreatitis, and then autoimmune, it doesn't give us autoimmune pancreatitis to be specified, but we have other pancreatitis, other chronic pancreatitis. So I think we can code K86.1. And then we also have the patient has diabetes, and I know you know already that diabetes is E11.9. Also, the patient has a mobile cecum, so let's try to index that cecum, or mobile or mobility cecum, and then the code for that is Q43.3, and that is in the assessment. So we have a very small encounter here, and let's start coding. Let's not waste any time. Let's start coding right now. Okay, in the assessment, I can see that this chart is an eye chart. So let's count first how many encounters do we have in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 encounters in this tiny chart. So let's start. In the assessment, I can see that the patient has diabetes with proliferative diabetic retinopathy with macular edema bilateral. So since that is in the assessment, we don't need support to code that. We can code that right away. So to code that, let's type diabetes and then with retinopathy, and then it is proliferative and it has macular edema, and the laterality is bilateral. So that led us to the code E113513, and that risk adjust. E113513. Let's see if the patient is taking any medication such as insulin, because insulin also can be reported. And the patient actually has cataract, and it's bilateral as well. And let's see if the cataracts were removed or it's still here. Okay, so there's no evidence or surgical evidence that the cataracts were removed. So we can code the cataract, combo code it with a diabetes. So the code for that is E1136, but to help you index that, let's type diabetes and then with cataract, and then that will lead you to the code E1136, and then that risk adjust. What else do we have in here? So we only have two conditions to be reported. Okay, let's move on to the next encounter. It's the same patient, so probably it has the same conditions to be reported. Yep, in the assessment it actually says here diabetes with proliferative diabetic retinopathy with macular edema bilateral, and we already coded that. We already indexed that, and that is E113513. Let's see if we can find if there is also cataract, because the previous encounter we did, there was bilateral cataract. So let's see if it has here. What I can see for now is just the laterality, the bilateral retinopathy. Let's find more, and there is no insulin. Yeah, yep, I only see one condition. Okay, and that is like normal when you code, because each encounter you have to treat that as separate, as an individual encounter. You don't have to, it doesn't mean that the other encounter has cataract, it doesn't mean that the other one has also cataract. So you have to treat them separately or individually, so that it's more specific, and yeah, and that's how it is. Okay, now we are now on our third encounter, and it's actually the same. It is E113513 for type 2 diabetes with proliferative diabetic retinopathy with macular edema bilateral, and then I don't see any other conditions. There's no cataract. Yep, we only have one. And we also make sure that each encounter has the same patient.
Hello.
Good morning, friends. Today is Tuesday, and we are going to make breakfast first before we go to work. So yesterday, Monday, we actually did not finish our Monday vlog because during the time of my filming, hubby got a call, so I cannot film or talk at the same time he's talking to his boss, right? Or talking at work. So we are gonna continue the vlog today. We are gonna do a week in a life of a medical coder, or a week of medical coding, and then yeah. So right now I'm making breakfast. I'm making coffee. I'm gonna make a big iced coffee so we can share. We don't need to have 2 cups of it. just a big coffee to share. And then we'll make a toast, and then after that we'll go right to work. Okay, that's our beans. And I'll see you later. Okay, friend, let's start our day. Let's turn on our computer. Let's start working. But for now, let's have breakfast while everything is opening. Let's make sure that everything is working well before we start recording. Hi, good morning. Let's have our first chart of the day. Let's go to the assessment first. We have hypertension, pre-diabetes, dyslipidemia, splenic artery aneurysm, and pulmonary artery aneurysm. Let's try to code them. Let's index them. Aneurysm, artery, pulmonary. Aneurysm of pulmonary artery is I-28.1, and it does risk adjust. And then we have splenic artery aneurysm. It says it needs periodic surveillance, so I believe that is not acute. Aneurysm, splenic, and the code for that is I-72.8, but it doesn't risk adjust, so we only have one code so far. Okay, let's go back. In the HPI we have high blood pressure, gout. She has asthma, and the specificity is mild intermittent, so that is J4520. So if you code that, that is asthma, mild intermittent, and the code for that is J4520. The patient also has chronic obstructive or COPD. The code for that is J44.9. We can code both because the COPD, the asthma is specified. So we can code both COPD and the asthma. And then what else? Let's see, let's type. Symbicort. What does Symbicort treat? It does treat COPD and asthma. So we put no support on that. What else? Okay. I guess we have 3 conditions to be reported here. We have I-28.1 found in the assessment, the aneurysm of pulmonary artery. We have mild intermittent asthma and COPD. Let's find more. Yep, that's it. Hello friends, today is Tuesday and I'm into like 11 minutes to be done working. I'm on like probably 2 more charts. And I'm just looking for conditions like, for this chart, I'm just looking for diabetes and myasthenia gravis. So far, I'm not seeing it. But I see peripheral neuropathy. I can see that the patient has hypercholesterolemia. Let's find those conditions. I don't see them. And yeah, the patient has peripheral neuropathy, but we're not looking for that. The patient has hypercholesterolemia. We are not looking for that. And yep, no, on this first chart, a first encounter, it doesn't have any of those conditions. How about the second encounter? Today's Tuesday, and I'm filming actually a week of medical coding, but this week I'm gonna upload the Tuesday vlog, just a gist of my, so that you can see not really half, so you can see a part of a week of medical coding. I can see peripheral neuropathy. Okay, I don't see any conditions besides peripheral neuropathy and hypercholesterolemia. Okay, that's it. We don't have those conditions. Alright, so we can submit this one. And yes, I'm almost done. I have like 10 minutes to be done for today. And that is exciting because after this, I'm going diamond painting. I'm going to the craft room and enjoy my me time. Alright, we are now on our second encounter. Probably the last encounter. I mean, we are now on our second or last. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm already tired and I'm done working. I feel like it. So I think this is my last chart for the day. I'm like a few minutes away to be done. So we are looking for conditions like diabetes and IBD, inflammatory bowel disease. If we can find them, then we code them. So far, I'm not finding them. Yes, that's it. I don't see these conditions here. How about this? Cardiomyopathy, already coded. Nope. Does the patient has diabetes? No, it doesn't have, the patient doesn't have diabetes nor inflammatory bowel disease, but the patient has cardiomyopathy, which is already coded. Let's see. All right, last encounter. Cardiomyopathy, no diabetes, no irritable bowel disease. That's it. All right, we're done with this chart. We can submit that. Hello, friends. Today is Wednesday. I almost forgot to check in. And I only have almost an hour left for my shift this for today. In the morning, it was a little bit hectic because I woke up a little bit late. I slept in, so I was 1 minute late for work. I usually start at 7 a.m. so that I could be done at 3:30 p.m. Yes. I don't know what happened. My husband and I woke up with an upset stomach. So, yes, it was difficult to get up today. But yay, I am able to check in for our week in a life of medical coding. And let me put it down a little bit. There you go. And all right, let's start with a new chart. This is a small chart, just 40 plus pages. And then let's see how many encounters do we have in here. I just make sure that the patient's name matches to my chart. Okay, we found it. All right, let's find some conditions that risk adjust for this encounter. Let's go to the assessment. So in the assessment, there is what we call neuromuscular weakness. Let's try to code that one. Let's try to index that. Weakness. Neuromuscular. I don't see any. Let's see. Is that considered as muscle weakness? M6281. Yeah, it does not risk adjust. Let's try. Okay, now let's go up and read more. Okay, I can see that the patient has seizure disorder, and the code for that is G4909. Seizure disorder is a chronic condition. So you can type disorder and then seizure, and then the code will give you G4909 for epilepsy or seizure disorder, not otherwise specified. Again, the code is G4909. So we can code that one. What else? Developmental delay. Let's try if that was suggested, say delay. Development. It is unspecified. If it is global, intellectual, it was not specific at all here. So the code is R6250, which does not risk adjust. And I can only code one condition, and that is seizure disorder. And we only have one encounter for this chart, so we can submit this one. Okay, we are now on our last encounter, last chart for the day. And then I actually have started and have like 3 encounters already. I thought I was filming, but it was not caught there. So let's continue. I'm on my 4th encounter, the same patient, different encounter, but I can see same conditions. Asthma unspecified and Crohn's disease unspecified. For asthma unspecified, I know you know by now that that is J45909. And for Crohn's disease unspecified, that is K50.90. Just making sure that I'm recording. Yes, it is recording. Okay, let's continue to the next encounter. This is the 5th one. This is a 60-pager chart, but I'm already on my 5th encounter, so we'll see. Okay, the same conditions, asthma and K50.90 or Crohn's disease. In the surgical history, there's no amputation, and also in the physical exam, there's no ulcer or artificial openings. So yeah, let's encounter. I don't see any other conditions. So let's report that one. How are you doing, guys? I hope you will like the A Week in a Life of a Medical Coder, or what do you call this? A week of medical coding. I'm not still sure what will be the title of this video, but we'll see. The last time I uploaded about medical coding content, that was an hour with MeetCode. So this A Week in a Life might be also on the same length of video, but we'll see. But this will be there'll be a lot of editing for sure. We have the same conditions, asthma and K50.90, which is Crohn's disease. I don't see any other conditions here. We're almost done for this chart. I think we still have like probably 4 encounters, but we'll see. It's normal, guys, that I don't need to talk a lot because I'm coding, right? We need some concentration sometimes. So this is realistic. You can see me talk, you can hear me talk, and you can also see me just staring. Because I'm doing the same chart, the same patient, different encounters. So I'm just making sure that I'm not missing any conditions here that will just pop up that was not shown on the previous encounters. I'm just making sure that I'm doing a good job of coding. We're very close to finishing this chart. I think we have one more. We'll see. Oh, actually we're done for this chart. Yay! This is a 60-pager chart, but we have like 13 encounters. So we're done with that. We can submit it. And I'm done for the day also. Thank you so much, guys. And I will see you tomorrow. Good morning, friends. Today is Thursday. And let's start our day with making, let's start our day by making breakfast. Let's start with coffee. So we're almost done for the week. We are very close to finishing the week today. And let's just make breakfast and start our day. Let's make it a coffee. Of course, iced coffee for sure. Good morning. I really had a hard time going back to sleep last night. I woke up around 3:30 and couldn't go back to sleep. So I hope this coffee will help me. Okay, I'll make coffee and toast and I will see you in the office. Good morning, friends. It's again Thursday and we are going to code our first chart of the day. This is kind of large. It depends because it is a 100-pager chart, but let's see if there are only few encounters here. Let's start our first encounter. Let's make sure that the patient's name is like matched to the chart before we start inputting information. Right, since they are matched, since it is matched, let's continue and find conditions here. Okay, let's go to the assessment first. You can see that there is artificial opening, which is the colostomy. There is also adenocarcinoma of colon metastatic to liver. If these two conditions, the colon cancer and liver metastasis, are current or not eradicated and are in active treatment, we can code them. Let's also see if the colostomy is current and not just past medical history. But then let's continue reading because these are found in the assessment. Let's just make sure that what we are coding are all current. But there are plans of care for the cancer. So we will code the cancer. Let's go to table of neoplasm. It is colon cancer, and the code for that is C18.9. And then at the same time, it has metastasized to the liver. So we have secondary malignant neoplasm to the liver. And then the code for that is C78.7. There is no eradication, but there is a plan. There are plans for the cancer treatment. And then let's find other more conditions here. Codes here, the malignant neoplasm of colon, liver metastasis, and then colostomy status. So we have 3 and no other conditions here. All right, we have a chart here, and let's find some conditions. Okay, what do I see? The patient has congestive heart failure, liver cirrhosis, gout, essential hypertension, autonomic disorder of the autonomic nervous system, morbid obesity. Okay, so we have in here, since this is an outpatient visit, there is a heart failure in the assessment. At the same time, there is a hypertension. We can combo code that. So the code for that is I11.0, hypertensive heart disease with heart failure. And then other code for that is I50.9 for heart failure. The patient also have cirrhosis, that is K74.60 for cirrhosis. The patient also has morbid obesity. We do not code that. The patient has esophageal varices with bleeding, that is I85.01. And the patient has CAD with angina. Let's see, I-15119, if that risk adjusts. It does not. The patient has autonomic disorder of the autonomic nervous system. Let's find that if that risk adjusts. Disorder of the autonomic nervous system, G90.9, does not risk adjust. So I have 4 conditions right here: the heart failure, the liver cirrhosis, the esophageal varices, and the combo code hypertension with heart failure. Let's look for more. The patient has hepatitis C. Unless it is chronic, it is specifically identified as chronic, then we can code that, but it is just hepatitis C, so we cannot code that one. What else? That's it. I don't see any other conditions, so we can report that one. We can submit that. Okay, let's move on to the next condition. Next encounter, I mean. The same patient. And probably the same conditions that we can report. Heart failure, liver cirrhosis. I only found 2. Is there hypertension? Yes, there is. So hypertension plus heart failure is I11.0, and heart failure unspecified is I50.9. And then we have also the liver cirrhosis unspecified, that is K7460. And we have also the last one is esophageal varices with bleeding, that is I8501, and I believe that also risk adjust. To double check that, let's type I85.01. It does. Yes, it does risk adjust. We only have 4 conditions, and we can move on to the next encounter. This is like a small chart, but feels like there are a lot of encounters here. Let's move on to our 3rd encounter for this chart. Ay! Lucky, quiet, please. I'm working. I know. It's still early. People are still sleeping. Be quiet. No?
Okay.
No. Boogaloo, quiet. Okay, I believe this is the last encounter, which is our 11th encounter in this tiny chart. Okay, let's go. Again, the same patient, different encounter, and this is the last one. We have heart failure, I50.9, esophageal varices with bleeding, I85.01, essential hypertension with heart failure, I11.0, and liver cirrhosis, K7460. Those are the 4 conditions we found on our last encounter, and we can finally submit this. Yay! Well, friends, it's Thursday, and I am 9 minutes away from being done, and I only have I'm actually almost done with all my charts in the queue. Today's Thursday, so I have a dental appointment. I have an ortho appointment for my braces adjustment. We do this every month, and yes, and I really want to eat something delicious. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching my Thursday vlog. Tomorrow is the last day. We will be able to complete a week of medical coding, And yeah, I hope tomorrow my head will not hurt that much. My teeth will not feel so pressured or feeling like, sore. That I'll be able to talk and I'll be able to code with you guys. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye! Good morning, friends! Happy Friday! This is the last day for a week in a life as a medical coder, or a week of medical coding. And I am happy that it is Friday and it is already 7 a.m. My husband is making us coffee and toast because I did the dog chore. So it's already 7 a.m. It's time to start working. Can you hear that alarm? Yep, that means it's 7 a.m. It's time to start working. And I am wearing Love and Faith sweatshirt. I just found their website and they were having a huge sale. So I got this one for myself. And I got another one for my sister in Canada. So, yay! I'm just excited that today is Friday and it is the last day of our work week, so we can have more diamond paintings on the weekend. And my dog is already waiting for me to open the door. I think he did his little routine outside too. Okay, and I'll be back later. See ya. Okay, friends, it's lunchtime and we're having chicken fried rice, and I will check in again when we do our last hour of coding, or probably a few minutes before we end our day. Hello, friends. I am down to my last 10 charts for the day, and it is Happy Friday. So let's just look for some conditions, and this will be fast because I'm just down to 10 charts, and I'm gonna be diamond painting after. So this is the first encounter. This is the chart. We have a chart here, and on the first, it's a very tiny chart, and the patient has pharyngitis and otitis media, and then those do not risk adjust, so we do not code them. Let's move on to the next encounter. The same patient, different encounter. Excuse me. And yes, the patient in this encounter doesn't have any diagnosis. We're now on our third encounter. The same patient, and again it's pharyngitis and fatigue. Those do not risk adjust. Next we have another encounter here, and nope, doesn't risk adjust. I think this is the last encounter for this chart. And let's look. Seizure, no seizures. Pharyngitis again, and that does not risk adjust too. And we are on the last one. I thought that was the last one, but this is the last one. And there are no conditions. So for that, we can submit this, and we're done with our first chart. Let's move on to the next chart. Okay, this is our first encounter, making sure that this is the patient and the chart, they are matched. The patient has, in the assessment, mixed anxiety and depressive disorder. That does not risk adjust, F41.8. So no, we cannot code that one. All right, let's move on to the next encounter. Same patient, different encounter. And yes, the patient has seasonal allergy, that is J30.2. And that does not risk adjust. The patient also has seasonal allergic rhinitis. I believe that does not risk adjust. You type rhinitis and then allergic and then seasonal. The code for that is J30.2. So yeah, we do not, that does not risk adjust. And again, the patient also has mixed anxiety and depressive disorder. That does not risk adjust. Let's move on to the next encounter. The same patient, different encounter. Depression, headache. No, those do not risk adjust in my current project. So, yep, we do not code that, and we will move on to the next encounter. Alright, is this the last encounter? It's the same patient, different encounter, and this is, I believe, the second to the last. And the patient has the same condition. It's mixed anxiety and depressive disorder, which does not risk adjust. We have actually two more. Encounters. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Seasonal allergy, mixed anxiety and depressive disorder, those do not risk adjust. And now this is the last one. And the patient has thyroidectomy. In my other project, thyroidectomy can be reported, but in my current project right now, thyroidectomy, you can index that as absence of thyroid, and then the code for that is E89.0, which in my project right now does not risk adjust. And that's it. We can move on to the next chart. All right, let's continue. We are looking for asthma. I hope we can find asthma. Okay, we only have one encounter in this tiny bitty chart. The patient has hypertension, palpitations, hyperlipidemia, heart murmur. Those do not risk adjust. And that's it. Very easy, very quick, because it's a tiny encounter. And those do not risk adjust, so we can submit this one and move on to the next chart.